Welcome. The first thing I have to tell you is Frank is a moron. Now let's start the show. Let's start this show. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the circus that we like to call Detect America. Your leading clown, Frank Lupergola, will be here in a minute because he can't be here when we start the show. Guys are like thinking this is high tech, right? I'm your ringmaster, Steve Pacifico. Tonight we have some great guests. And like I said, Frank will probably screw this whole show up and it'll just go right into the ground. Whenever we have these two guys on, man, I love it because they're awesome. I got Mr. Marc Hoover and Gary Penta. And we're going to be having Terry Carter join us when he can. So right now, while the show's going good and Frank's here, welcome, gentlemen. You guys are the greatest.
Hey, thanks for having us.
You know, playing circus music, I played that for you, Mark, because you were a member of the circus.
Brought back memories.
I know. Did they play that same music when you would come out?
No, that's calliope music, by the way. So, they used the old calliopes in the old time circus, but we didn't have that.
See, whenever I talk to Marc Hoover, man, I learned something. Can you do
Mark,
me a favor?
I just want to go on record as saying I know what a calliope is.
Okay.
It's over Steve's head.
One day, can you explain the universe to me, Mark? Because I got a feeling you know the secrets of the universe.
We're bringing in another.
And to mine, now you're Mr. Terry Carter, right?
I'm Mr. Terry Carter.
Terry,
how you guys doing?
I'm Steve Pacifico, and I already apologized for the other clown on the show, Captain Aquatech Frank Lupergola. Because by the end of the show, you're going to realize what a boob he is. I'm sorry.
Sounds like I'm going to fit right in.
Oh, dude, we are a bunch of clowns, and if you're friends with these other two in here, Gary and Mark, dude, don't even try and tell me you're reputable because it ain't true.
Hey, I got to tell you, man, these guys are well connected. Mark and Gary are. They're well connected, and they're some great guys.
They know everybody. They know everybody.
Do.
They are the
know everybody.
And it's, you know what? That's not just it, man. I just like seeing these guys when we go to events and just hanging out with them and just talking to them. Because, like I said, my level of conversation is like third grade with Frank. So, and like I said, here's how most of the conversation goes between me and Frank. Like, it's like talking to a circus monkey.
Mark knows everybody, everything. Mark, tell them about when you were running guns with the Contras.
We can't talk about that.
All right, can I just do one thing? I want to get this out of the way early because I got to talk to Gary. Hey, Gary, come on, dude.
Come on.
Yeah, I got you, buddy, because it was so funny.
I know what you're going to ask.
Gary one night, and he tells me, I said, he moves. He goes, I just moved to Tampa. I said, oh, you're going to get a job at Disney? He goes, well,
Orlando.
He goes, I worked there before. I go, you did? He goes, yeah, I was the monorail driver for like one day. Well, I did a little research, and it's amazing how Gary caused a 5-car monorail pileup. Can you explain how that happened, Gary? Where they all crashed? It was a bloody mess. I heard it was crazy. There were Disney characters strewn about the monorail.
No, that's not correct. You got bad info.
No. So how long were you a monorail driver?
It was about 5 days.
Okay. And again, why were you fired? Something to do with Minnie Mouse? Was it something to do with Minnie Mouse?
No, it actually had to do with my vision. I made it as far as
you didn't see the other monorails when you hit them.
No, I made it as far as nighttime driving. And when they did the nighttime driving, it turns out all the pylons that the monorail is perched on, each one has a number, and it's lit up by a yellow light. And the little plaques have numbers that show you what the number pylon in it, and the traffic controller would say pull up at pylon number 22. Anyway, I couldn't see him. My night vision was shot.
All right, so you're trying to tell me you didn't hit anything. I'm gonna have to get the accident report.
No. They reclassified me. Ended up working at the Polynesian for about a year, which was awesome.
And you were spinning the fire baton?
No, was
that you wearing the loincloth spinning the fire baton?
No, I watched them though.
Mark, do you believe this story that he didn't hit anything?
Well, I heard they hid the body in the lagoon, but I don't know anything about it.
See, something about a body in the lagoon. See, I know you guys think I'm going to fall for that story. So why are we here tonight, Frank? We're here to talk about stuff. I don't know what we're here to talk about.
These fine gentlemen are, well, Terry is one of the organizers. Mark is just riding his coattails, but an awesome event that's taking place out in Utah, and it's called the Moon Lake Gathering, and this is the 25th anniversary. Now, I didn't know about the Moon Lake Gathering until Mark told me, so therefore we're going to let Mark and Terry and Gary run with the whole concept.
Well, I think most people know Gary and I. So first of all, thank you for having us on. What I was going to do is I was going to introduce Terry and then let him talk a little bit about the Moon Lake Gathering, and then we'll tell you about what Gary and I are planning and what our involvement is in it.
But, pass the buck over to Terry. I got you. Terry.
No, hang on a second. I want to introduce him.
Okay. Absolutely. Terry.
So if you go on YouTube, Terry has a fabulous YouTube channel, Terry Carter. He's got about over 50,000 followers.
And Terry, be sure we'll post that up. We'll post your link up on our page when we're done.
This guy's got 57.9 subscribers.
Yeah, Terry is the real deal treasure hunter. Now, I'd been watching his YouTube videos, and we connected, and I found out that he was coming to Florida for his work. So we went to dinner one night, and it turns out that the next day they were having a 1715 Fleet Divers seminar down on the Treasure Coast. So Terry and I went down, and I introduced him to all the treasure hunters, the boat captains, Captain Fizz, Bill Black, Taffy Fisher. So Terry spent another couple of days, Terry, interviewing all of them individually, going around and getting them.
Some of them, yeah. Yeah, I was real blessed to meet them guys because, man, there's some fantastic guys, and they got some great stories.
That's a crew. That's a crew down there for sure.
Yes,
Terry, can I ask you a quick question, Terry?
Yeah.
How is it you have 58,000 subscribers and not one picture of a nude woman?
That's all private.
That tube channel I watch has less than that many subscribers, and you're rocking it, dudes. I just subscribed to, so now you got 59,000.
Oh man, I'm really starting to like you. I didn't even know you, and I'm starting to like you now.
Well, that'll change. Listen, that's going to change in about 15 minutes.
You'll get over that quick, Terry. Don't worry about
it. So what is it? Wait, Terry, tell me, what is it? What do you do, and what do you find? What type of?
So mainly what I do. I started treasure hunting for Spanish gold bars back in the early 80s. And I got fortunate enough to hook up with some of the old timers, and they started passing away. And I could not remember their stories. And even if I couldn't tell them like they did. So I got my tape recorder out, and I started recording these people in the 80s. And then when I got a video camera, I started video recording them. And then when YouTube came out, I had some friends that wanted to hear their stories and that. So I just put it up on YouTube so that they could some of my friends could see these interviews that I did with these people, these old timers, you know.
So what I'm getting is, what I'm catching on to is you killed them off and now you're stealing their gold. Is that it?
Exactly right.
All right. Now I see why the like to Marc Hoover and Gary, and I see why you like them guys. So how many gold Spanish bars have you found?
I have not found none. I've had my heart pounding a bunch, but I have a few friends that found some. I have one friend that found 400 gold bars, and the smallest one was 12 pounds.
No kidding.
What?
They weren't pure gold. It had like I don't remember the exact.
I don't care.
It was like 58% gold, and then it had a lot of copper, iron, lead.
That's okay.
That
Put it in here.
But yeah.
And now where?
That's stories that it's because I happen to know this guy personally. That's stories. You don't hear these stories, you know. You
Right,
never hear
sure.
these. They keep these things secret. And the only reason I knew is because I became good friends with this guy. He's passed away now.
Here's my question, and I don't need specific details, but was this found underwater on the land at Marc Hoover's house?
On the land in the Uinta Mountains. In fact, Mel Fisher came to the Uinta Mountains here in Utah looking for these Spanish gold bars.
Really? And this guy found them.
Let me interject something here. So that where we're going to be at is in northern Utah, about 3 hours east of Salt Lake City. It's in the Uinta Mountains, and it's really well known for Spanish exploration. Mormons traveled that area a lot. They carried everything.
Are we
with
talking
them.
Superstition Mountains?
No, that's way south. We're talking way up north in Utah. And what's interesting is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about at the gathering is the Jimmy Crossbones story, and I think Jim's in the chat.
Jimmy's in the chat, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. But what's interesting is if you look at the Spanish explorers, they came up the east coast of Florida, coming off of South America, and then they would load up in Cuba and then come up.
We've heard this
Florida and back to Spain. But the same Spanish explorers all were coming up through Mexico into southern Utah, to northern Utah. They were mining silver in southern Utah. They were mining gold. So the Spanish explorers were all over North America. And where Terry is now in northern Utah, there was a lot of activity there.
Well, Terry ain't found no gold bars yet.
Well, that's my question for Terry.
Hey, I'm a treasure hunter, not a treasure finder.
That's my question for Terry. So we're metal detecting guys, and we and like Gary dies with the detector, and I know that, and I've been detective for 40 years, and I know for me, if 38 years ago, if I hadn't found at least a little something to wet my beak, I probably wouldn't be metal detecting today. So what have you found that drives you? You had to have found something that keeps you pointed north, keeps you going.
As far as actually finding things, I haven't found any gold bars. That's what I'm looking for. So I say I really haven't found anything, but I found things. I found where I think a Spanish mission was. I found the inside clapper to a bell. I found musket balls. I found the hammer to a flintlock gun. I found an iron arrowhead.
You have found stuff
I found old coins. I found a few rings here and there, but it's not what I'm looking for. So
you found stuff that validates your research, at least.
Yeah, I'm looking for the gold bars.
But didn't you find out like a Spanish conquistador part of their helmet or breastplate or something like that? You didn't find that, okay?
No, I have a friend that his brother found one in the dumpster in Heber, which is right at the base of part of the Uinta Mountains. Who knows what that story is, why it was in a dumpster, did some old boy find it up in the Uintas and then he passed away and the family just chucked it in the dumpster, or somebody stole it and got scared and threw it. I don't know what the story is, but it was found in the dumpster.
No kidding.
So Terry, we should hook up, you and I, because we could both find nothing together.
Hey.
Because that's a story of my life.
All right, the super important question that keeps popping up on our chat is, why is it called Moon Lake?
There's a lake up there that is in the shape of the moon, I guess. I don't know. That's just what they named it, the Moon Lake. This Moon Lake has been a superstition place for the Indians for a long time. They won't go near there. They think there's a lake monster in there that attacked their people a long time ago, and they for a longest time they stayed right away from that area.
Yeah.
That's where the Spaniards hung out, was up in that area. There's several Spanish mines supposed to be in that area. So
Now, is Moon Lake fed by Moon River?
no.
Okay.
All right, so Terry, tell us a little bit about this event. Mark was explaining something to me. It sounds awesome. So tell me a little bit about what it is you put on at the Moon Lake Gathering.
So I just got involved, I think 4 years ago. I'd been going to this for quite a while. It was just a group of treasure hunters and Bigfoot and UFO enthusiasts that they would just get together and invite, some of the locals to come and speak to them and tell some of their adventures, and they outgrew where they was at. So we moved it up here we was going to have it at Moon Lake, but we outgrew that too. So we had to move it down into the park down in Altamont. But it's just a group of treasure hunters, a group of UFO enthusiasts and Bigfoot enthusiasts. I'm a treasure hunter. I'm not really into the Bigfoot and the UFO, but in the Uinta Mountains, that stuff happens. We're not that far from Skinwalker Ranch. We're not that far from Blind Frog Ranch. And anybody that spends a lot of time in the Uinta Mountains sees some strange things.
So how many times have you been abducted by aliens? Just tell us.
None that I know of.
None, no?
But I know a lot of people that claim that they have.
They wiped his memory, Steve. He can't remember.
Yeah, that's right. It happened, and he can't remember it.
Okay. My father-in-law, he never even told his kids. He was out in the oil field. These guys that work out in the oil fields, they're out in the middle of nowhere. He was saying a bright light was chasing him down or something, and he lost time, and that's all he remembers. He doesn't remember anything else, But my wife there for a while, when we first got married, at exactly, and I don't remember the exact time, but like 12 or 2:27 in the morning, it was the exact same time every night. She would wake up and go like that, and I always accused her of being abducted by the aliens back when she was doing that. It happened every night for 1 month straight, the exact same time she did that.
You might be a little too close to that Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to comment on that story there. I should just leave that one alone.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was probably a smart decision. So, what I've got is, when did I just see the dates of this? When are the dates?
August 23rd and 24th. So what we're going to be doing is it doesn't really start until 5 p.m. on August 23rd at the Altamont City Park. We're having our first speakers go. But for those that get early, if they want to cruise on up to Moon Lake, we've got a few speakers going to talk about Bigfoot, about the Lost Roads mine in the Uinta Mountains, and things like that.
So I found a Facebook page called The Gathering at Moon Lake / Morgan Powwow.
That's it.
That's the correct one.
That's the correct one.
Okay. And what type of event is this? Is this a metal detecting event?
No. However, Mark's arranged that we got the Fisher Metal Detecting Company is going to be there, and they're going to be showing people, because it's not just metal detector guys there. There's these people that are going to be interested in Bigfoot and UFOs, and so this would be a perfect opportunity for the Fisher Metal Detecting Company to be there and show them how to metal detect, all about metal detectors and that. So no, this isn't a metal detecting thing per se, but there's going to be a lot of treasure hunters there. There's a lot of people come to this from all over the country. Last year it was from Maine to Hawaii and all in between.
You had about 600
people?
600 people come last year.
Well, I didn't count it. Kent count it, and he said there was 740. I didn't count, so I don't know last year. And it's grown by, since we've had it at Moon Lake, it's grown by 200 people approximately every year. So this is free to everybody. We don't charge anybody, and so
you say free?
What's that?
You say free? That's my favorite word. That's my middle name.
Free. You better come then. It costs us money, but people have donated every year to help cover the costs. We do not make a dime on this, not one single dime. Anything that we have left over goes to help pay for the next year. I got to pay for my way to get there, my food, my everything, just same as everybody else. This is just for a great place for people to get together. And the greatest thing about this is to network with people. There is a lot of knowledge comes to these places, to this thing. There's a lot of information that can be gleaned from this. So that's the greatest thing about that. And then to help entice people to get there, we have the speakers. We got Mark and Gary coming. We've got the guy with Dan Dillman with on the History Channel, the Lost Gold of the Aztecs. We got the guy who owns the ranch right next door, the Skinwalker Ranch. He calls his Space Wolf Research, and he's had some crazy things happen on his ranch.
Isn't there a show called Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes, there is.
A very popular show.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I know I maybe perused it a little bit, and so I know that it is a popular show, Skinwalker Ranch. So that's cool. I mean, it just sounds like a big powwow, get together of people.
It's a big get together with treasure hunters, with all kinds. There's a lot of the Arizona Treasure Boys. Some of the Arizona Treasure Boys are coming. Hey, Mark, you and Gary are coming, but last year we had other people from Florida here.
So one of the things I noticed, and because I used to travel to southern Utah all the time, and actually was working on, as you guys know, I was working on a project down there, Uncharted Expedition. However, what I've learned is that there's a real dichotomy between the East and West. So we're very familiar here with the Treasure Coast. We're familiar with Civil War artifacts, treasure hunting, the colonial up in the Northeast, up there where you're at, Steve. But there's a real difference out west. There's a lot of gold hunting, gold panning. It's just a really completely different group of people out there. And I think when Gary and I go out, we're going to meet a whole different group of people that we've never really interacted with. So I'm really looking forward to that, because we really don't kind of mix the East and West very much.
But Mark, tell us a little bit about as much as you can without giving away too many details. Tell us about what you and Gary going out there talking about.
Well, I'll start and I'll let Gary jump in here. But when Terry reached out to me, really it started with him asking me if we could get a metal detecting manufacturer to come out and demonstrate metal detecting equipment to all of these various people who are coming that may not be familiar with it. So it's a great opportunity. So Russ Balberona from Fisher stepped up to the plate and was going to donate some detectors, and they're going to have some representation there showing people how to use the equipment. Now we've got a couple of guys, Rob Johnson and James Opar, are coming over from Idaho, and they're going to be manning the metal detecting side of it and teaching people how to use it, show them how to use the equipment, so on and so forth. So I'm primarily going to be talking about the Jimmy Crossbones treasure and the 1715 fleet and some of the history of that. Gary has actually been a diver on one of the boats. And so Gary, why don't you tell them about the boat and then the Megalodon and all the other stuff we're going to be doing?
All right. Well, I dive on the east end and west coast of Florida. On the east coast, of course, with the treasure boats on the Treasure Coast. Got a pretty good relationship with several of the boat captains and boat owners down there. So I've got some experience on that. Lately, I've been really getting into over on the west coast, by Venice, and doing megalodon tooth and fossil hunting in the Gulf of Mexico. It's something I really enjoy doing. A lot of really good people who are involved in that. They're some of my good friends. One of the things that we're bringing is but we're bringing a bunch of things to help fund the trip. Everything from alien-related jewelry. You might see some pictures. We're bringing what were they bringing? Some megalodon teeth. Take a look at that right there. It's about a 5¼ inch partial megalodon tooth. It's probably anywhere from 10 to 3.6 to 23 million years old. So we're going to talk about just a lot of the aspects of the different things we do here in Florida, such as like treasure hunting and the meg teeth. That's something that they probably, I'm sure they have megalodon teeth out in Utah, but they're not underwater. They're probably on land. But again, it's going to be, like Mark said, it's going to be a learning experience. We're going to meet up with a lot of people. I kind of look at it as almost like a Burning Man for treasure hunters. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
This is going to be held at the Moon Lake Resort.
No, it's going to be held down in Altamont, the Altamont City Park, which is down from that. It's Moon Lake is a major drainage. The Rock Creek is a major drainage. The Yellowstone River is a major drainage. Where all Spanish activity came, there was activity in all them drainages, and they all funneled down right there to Altamont. We outgrew Moon Lake. We got too big. The Forest Service got wind of that, and they says, whoa, that ain't gonna happen.
All right, because I just looked at Moon Lake on Google Earth, and dude, that looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
It is in the
middle of nowhere.
Like it probably gets really dark at night there.
It's dark, and it gets at night when the sun goes down. It gets cold.
That's where all the big feet.
Wait, now I'm looking at the Altamont City Park, and I guess I'm looking at the town of Altamont, and it looks like there's about approximately 3 houses in this town.
Yeah, it ain't very big at all. It's a small town.
Population of 6, I think it says.
Well, there might be 10. No, it's bigger than
Yeah,
that.
but how many teeth are there? I mean, this is like, dude, I'm seriously, I see about 10 streets.
It's a small town.
You have a high school. Look at it. The high school takes up 1/4 of the town.
Yeah, there's not a lot there. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. We wanted to be up in the mountains. This is as close as we could get to it without getting in trouble by the Forest Service. We had too many people coming, and we were just in trouble with them. We had 4 years ago, we had to do a hurry up and change so we didn't get in trouble with the Forest Service, and graciously, the mayor agreed to let us use the park and let people come there, and so we've just kind of stayed there but we're even outgrowing it. So
now, are other people like the different treasure hunters, different folks that do whatever it is they do out there? Are they setting up tables and showing off their wares and showing off their finds? And
so. We're the treasure hunters here aren't like you guys. You guys are finding Civil War stuff. You're finding old coins. These guys around here, they're looking for Spanish artifacts, Spanish gold. Well, because it's in the mountains, it's antiquities law. Anything older than 50 years old belongs to the government. So these guys don't really want to show. I have people, because they know who I am, they come up and show me. But just for a tip for those that goes, if you kind of watch along the fence line where people park and you see a small group huddled around, you better mosey on over there and just kind of see what they're showing and what they're talking about, because
this is a drum circle. Everybody's telling their stories.
Well, yeah, kind of. Only they don't tell it to everybody. A lot of these people don't want to tell. They'll tell generalities, but they won't tell everything, because they want to keep it secret, and they don't want to get in trouble, and so on. Just like that guy that friend of mine, he's passed on now, so I can tell this. Before I couldn't tell this. He found 400 gold bars. He only told just his closest friends. Nobody else knew. Nobody else knew.
No kidding.
Somebody asked on the chat, where does everybody stay? There's hotels within probably 30 minutes, and Gary and I and some other folks are going to be staying at. There's a Moon Lake Resort that you mentioned earlier, Steve. They have cabins there. They have a lodge there. So there are places to stay around there, and there's places to camp. So
we have some free camping set up. We're trying to make this as cheap for everybody as we can.
Right, that's cool.
the people that own the Moon Lake Lodge and also they own the Mountain Home Lodge. They've got a vacant field right there by the Mountain Home Lodge. They've agreed to let us camp there for free. So we're going to put up some porta potties there. There'll be no hookups or anything, but you can use their water spigot and whatnot on the side of the Mountain Home Lodge to get some water in that. So, anyways, other than that, if you don't want to camp, you don't have a camp trailer, then you can go find a motel there in one of the other neighboring cities, like Mark says, about 30 minutes away.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Were you born and raised in Utah?
I was born in Alaska, but raised in Utah. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, Utah is just a beautiful state. You've got national parks. I mean, like, how do I put it? Have you seen a lot of Utah yourself? I mean, it just looks like there's a lot of, and I mean, being from Alaska too, there's a lot of outdoor things to do. And I just know the scenery out there is beautiful.
There's a lot of spectacular scenery in Utah, but I love the Uinta Mountains specifically because of all the Spanish activity that went on there. Like I say, Mel Fisher was up there trying to make a deal with the Ute tribe up there, trying to get in there and find their gold bars. The Spaniards, the Indians hid up there. The Spaniards enslaved the Indians up there, worked them to death. The Indians didn't like that program, so they banded together, ran the Spaniards out, hid up all the gold bars, hid up all the mines. If it took the whole tribe years to cover it up, make it look like there was nothing there, they did that.
You're talking the Uinta, UINTA.
Yep.
Because I'm seeing Uinta National Forest.
Yep.
So that's it right there.
Now, Terry, haven't you seen, like, I know you do a lot of exploring. Haven't you seen like certain marks or symbols and things around that you found?
So back in the 80s, I did. There was still some of the marks still around, but they're gone now. With the forest fires, with the pine beetle kill, with the Forest Service going around clear cutting trees, most of all them marks are all gone now. But Del Bascom, who will be there doing a breakout session about the Lost Roads mine, he's got a bunch of the pictures. His dad, he's a second-generation treasure hunter. His dad was a Lost Roads mine treasure hunter, and his dad got some of the pictures of some of these trees, which are pretty spectacular. And Mark, the guy that owns the Moon Lake Lodge and the Altamont Lodge, Greg Gardner, he's a Spanish treasure hunter looking for the Lost Roads mine Spanish treasures. They uncovered last year a mine that had been sealed up for hundreds of years. That the timbers in it was so rotten that you just touch them and they'd crumble. It was scary to go in there, but when they started clearing it out, they'd go over the pile that they cleared out, and they found an old Spanish coin from the old 1400s there. You'll have to get him, Greg Gardner. You'll have to get him to show you that.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone. I just haven't, I look forward to meeting him. So, yeah, that's fun.
Mark, those pictures that you sent me, is that stuff that you're bringing up there with you?
Yeah, so you put a picture up there. I'll let Gary talk about the jewelry that's going to be donated. Well, there's the Megalodon tooth that we're going to be raffling off. And then we'll be raffling off a 2024 Morgan dollar, one of the Invicta Aviator watches. There's the watch, and there's the Morgan dollar. And then Gary's got a great relationship with one of the goldsmith, the guy that designs jewelry and makes it. You have that picture I sent you?
Yeah, I got it somewhere. Hold on.
You guys always bring great giveaways. You guys
there it is. Yeah, go ahead. Gary, why don't you talk about what those actually are and what he made?
Okay. Those are called those little artifacts there. They're made out of solid silver, and they were hand worked specifically and designed specifically for this event. It's an actual replica of some items that were found in pre-Columbian tombs and in pyramids and things like that. And they were found, 1,500 years ago, but nobody really knows what they are. Some people think that they might be insects, but when you look at the design and the fact they have a horizontal tail and a vertical tail, a lot of people think that they resemble aircraft. So anyway, these are replicas of a pre-Columbian artifacts that were found in Colombia 1,500 years ago. The next item,
Yeah.
you would scroll over.
Yeah, hold on. I don't scroll
Anyway,
back.
the next item is, okay.
Hold on, I'm looking.
I don't think I had the picture of the.
No.
Do we have the aliens? No.
That's what I got.
Okay.
That, if you
That's your
go back
Mexican, right?
one, yeah, that's the picture of the Megalodon artwork before this one.
Yeah, okay.
That shows this one here. All right, that's actually a piece for one of the captains of the fossil boat that I was diving on. Captain Jamie Boswick is a personal friend of mine, and he operates a charter boat, two boats now, called the Aristocat. So I designed this artwork that represents, the boat, and it has a bunch of divers below, and in the background you can see, you can envision what a megalodon would look like compared to the boat and to the divers. So that is an original piece of artwork that's also going to be included with the megalodon tooth, and I'm really proud of that artwork that I created. We also have, I don't think you have a picture of it. We have some more jewelry, beautiful solid silver depiction of his and her alien pendant necklaces. So there'll be two of those, two of each, two of the pre-Columbian flyers and two of the gray aliens will be raffling those off. And like Mark's also bringing a watch, and we have the beautiful coin that Mark got hold of, the 2024. We have that. The 2024 Morgan dollar.
Here's the
Beautiful
watch.
piece of, and the watch, the Invicta Aviator watch. So somebody's going to win those. And, yeah, plus we'll have some other things here and there, some giveaways, decal stickers.
Yeah,
When kids come up, we always try to have something.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention, I don't know how many people have ever talked to Casey Dittman, but Casey's the owner of Excalibur Shovels. Casey lives in Utah. He's a metal detectorist. He's a really good metal detectorist. Has found some amazing spots out there, some old ghost towns and things like that. So hopefully we're going to get a chance to spend some time with him. Casey's going to be a part of this, and he's going to have his display of all of his shovels. And I have one. I actually ordered a custom shovel for myself, and it's one of the top shovels you can own. I mean, and mine is designed to break down so that you can carry it in your luggage. But yeah, Casey's going to be there with us too.
Nice.
I got a question. What's the weather like in Utah? Do you have a harsh winter out there, or what?
Yes,
So-
it depends, but yeah, it gets cold. It'll
Okay.
get in that area. It probably sometimes it'll get down to 20, 30 below.
Oh, no. All right. Well, that just answered my question.
Well, Steve, you got to remember in Utah, southern Utah, St. George, where I used to travel into, it's only an hour and a half to 2 hours from Las Vegas. So
Right.
St. George is really on the edge of the desert. So it's a lot warmer in southern Utah than where Terry is up in northern Utah, where it gets a lot of snow, gets really cold, has a higher elevation. So completely different topography and climate
Yep.
than southern
I'm
Utah.
seeing that southern Utah is pretty level with the bottom of California, or the middle of California, So I was wondering if it, so the bottom of Utah would probably not get any snow at all, or
Very little.
very little. So that would be prime living, and then you could take trips up north.
St.
Gary,
George,
the question coming up if any of those raffles will be available online.
Not
I
these particular
doubt
ones, no.
Now, these are only for the
Yeah,
people
not
that
these
are going to be out there.
Yeah.
Now, maybe we'll talk to the designer. Maybe we can do something later on for Detect America, but these are only for the.
I didn't know if you're doing them online to raise money for this event or not. That's all.
No, not this particular time. We do have another event coming up. Mark and I are probably going out to the what's that event in Texas, Mark?
Yeah, it's a Gypsy Jewel's birthday bash.
Oh, the birthday bash, yeah.
Right. Plus, going to Arkansas again
For Kadoha Treasure Fest.
Doha Treasure Fest. So we'll try to have some stuff out there as far as an online thing. Mark and I'll talk about it, see what we come up with.
As soon as my divorce is final, I could probably start traveling more often.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of looking at because I've never been to Utah before. I was in the Air Force a long time, and I've been in many places, but I've never been to Utah. So I've been doing some, some looking, same as you're doing, Steve. And I found a place that Mark and I were flying into Salt Lake City, and then it's about almost a 3-hour drive to get out to the resort. I say that loosely; it's cabins, but
The rustic.
we're going to be passing right through an area that's called Starvation Lake. Have you heard of that, Terry?
Yeah, it's a kind of a man-made lake. It's all right. It's not all that spectacular. You'll be going through Strawberry Reservoir. There's a lot of Spanish activity went on in that area. Starvation, yeah. So if you guys are going out there, what you guys really need to spend some time to do is go out to Vernal, Utah, and go up to McConkey's Ranch. Some of them petroglyphs there are the most spectacular petroglyphs in the whole United States, in my most humble but accurate opinion. These things are not only life-size carved and pecked and painted. When they were fresh, they had to be spectacular, but these guys got breastplates, jewelry, crowns. These guys were Aztecs or Egyptians or something like this. These weren't your regular Indians. And then you've got the dinosaur quarry up there where you can go in there and see the dinosaurs still in the rock there. There's a lot of fossils found out there, a lot of dinosaur fossils.
So, Terry, if I'm planning on coming to Utah, I have a very, very important question.
No, there's no Wawas there.
What are the massage parlors like out there? Nice and seedy? I mean,
in Salt Lake, man, you can get whatever you want. And you go a little bit farther into Elko, man, we can get you into Elko. And they got cat houses there. It's legal there in Elko in Nevada.
Oh no! Wait! No! I'm like, listen, if it's anything more than $20, I ain't there.
Hey, I do they got a lot of gold mines there in Nevada, and I did a lot of work on some of them gold mines. And I had a guy work for me, and he got drunk and went into one of them cat houses there, and he fell asleep, and he never even got to go in there. He got to go in there, but they charged him like $800 for just sleeping.
That's like my own home. I mean, look, I go all the way to Utah to do what I do at home, right?
Oh man,
Terry, give us the dates again, the locations again.
Terry.
Yeah.
Give us the dates and stuff again for the event.
August 23rd and 24th, 2024 at the Moon Lake Gathering at the Altamont City Park. It starts at 5 p.m. the official thing Friday at the Altamont City Park. But for those that get there earlier, we'll have some speakers up there at Moon Lake. There's some strange things happens up there at Moon Lake. Plus, there's some Spanish treasure stuffs went on there. So.
And we're going to post the poster and all your info, and I'm going to post a link to your YouTube page as well.
Cool, thanks.
I hope you guys have a really nice time. I mean, you know what I mean?
Take good pictures, Mark. We want to post some pictures.
Yeah, we will. We'll look forward to it, and also, looking forward to engaging with some of the folks out there we haven't met yet. And
absolutely.
Gary and I are really, you probably figured this out. We're always looking for the next adventure. So, who knows who we might
Why
meet
wouldn't
up there.
you?
We might get
Yeah.
invited to go out to, do something else out there.
Have you been to Utah before, Mark?
I used to travel out there for work for 6 years. I was, you may or may not remember this, Steve, but we had the group from Uncharted Expedition on your
Right.
show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was,
That
yeah.
was southern Utah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that similar to where Terry is in southern Utah, they enslaved the Paiute Indians down there, and they were mining silver, and they didn't live very long when they were mining the silver. So
Right.
they did the same thing. They got together and they ran the Spanish off, and they ended up having to abandon, hundreds of silver bars that they believe are still, hidden there somewhere. And that's what we were looking for when I was down there.
That happened all across southern Utah, or all across the Southwest. That happened, So there is a lot of great stories, in Arizona, New Mexico. There are just a lot of great stories. Texas.
So Terry, you said you put videos of some of the older folks telling you these stories. Are they on your Facebook page or?
Yeah, sometimes I put them on there. Yeah, they're on my Facebook too. Facebook and YouTube.
Mostly YouTube, Steve.
Pardon me?
Mostly on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. YouTube. Yeah, I'd be interested.
I'll post them onto my Facebook page too, Terry L. Carter.
Let me send you. I don't know. I'm going to have to send you a friend request that you'll probably deny, like everybody else.
If you're smart.
I'm starting to wonder about you.
See, I told you.
You was right, man. You called that right.
If you're smart, you'll deny it.
Listen. Oh, I get to follow you. I don't have to get. It's not a. And you got 30,000. Dude, who are you? Like you're like someone important.
No, I am not. I know a lot of important people. That's my claim to fame. I know a lot of great guys.
I don't know, buddy. You're telling me you ain't ever found any gold bars.
Well, he ain't telling you.
That's what I mean. That's not, I think that's part of the story here is, someone, oh, my friend found 400. My friend this. He's probably sitting on him right now on a big stack.
Don't I wish? Hey, I have had my heart pounding a lot of times, but it's always been in disappointment.
Terry, we're going to have to figure out a way for you and I and Gary to find some stuff out there.
I probably got some places we could go. Hey, not only is the Outlaws there, or the Spanish there, but the Outlaws hung out there too. Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kids, the Outlaws, and we got a speaker coming to speak about that. But they hung out in that area too. And there's, there's that stuff too. There's reported of bank robberies, train robberies, stuff's hidden out in that areas, and there's just a lot of cool things. It's not like the Civil War and that where you can go to a battleground and find stuffs all the time. You got to really hunt and search to find just the small stuffs. But man, it's a lot of fun just to get out into Mother Nature. It's just an excuse to get outdoors and meet people. That's the real treasures, the people you get to meet, the stories you get to hear, and some of the artifacts you get to see every now and again. Other than that, anything else is just icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of my friends have gone out and hiked in the Utah mountains, and I believe they said it was probably the nicest, beautiful state they've ever seen.
I think a lot of people would be surprised, Steve. I've traveled all over the country, and the first time I went out to Utah, I was in shock. I mean, there's 5 national parks in Utah. The state parks are as nice as some of the other national parks around the country. Just beautiful red rocks. The topography changes all the time.
Right.
You've got the volcanic rock there, the caves. It's just a great place to explore. And going back to Terry's story about the Outlaws, a lot of people don't know that was considered the Outlaw Trail coming down from northern Utah and Colorado, that area, like that, where that area is coming all the way down to southern Utah. I actually talked to Jim Ferriell. Now, I think you knew him too, Terry. Jim Ferriell.
Yeah, you knew Jim. He was a great guy.
Jim told a story about going into a cave one time and finding a long time ago a saddlebag from the Pony Express, and it still had the original locks on it.
No kidding.
It had been cut open. Somebody had obviously stolen it, taken it into the cave, cut it open, and removed the contents. And the bag still had the original locks on it. And he found that in the back of one of the caves from the Outlaw Trail.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna start wrapping it up. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and I'm gonna post all the info on the page, and see if we can't get.
Dude, that went quick. I like talking to Terry. I like this guy, man.
We'll have Terry back on.
Well, I gotta have him back on and talk about some of his adventures and
Some of the
stories.
secrets that he finds out from Mark.
Yeah, you need to talk to his agent first before you get him on.
I do got a lot of great stories. I just got to remember them. I just haven't found any gold bars of what I'm looking for yet, but I've found a lot of great things. A lot of things that's cool, but it's not monetary values. I've had a lot of interesting stories.
And Gary, you need to get out there and get some diving done.
The weather's been so bad. We're having a hurricane now. It's a good time to hit the shore and do some digging, but
Yeah,
weather's
but
just been miserable.
you guys got to get out there. You know what I'm talking about. You got to get out there and just go underwater for a week at a time.
Okay.
And don't come up till you find good stuff. You guys are the man. You guys are cool. I always like having you guys on. We always have a good laugh.
Well, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, you guys know you're always welcome to this show. And Terry, when we have new friends that we make on this page, we always open a return invitation.
Absolutely, brother. For
anything you might want to.
We're just going to get you on here and tell some stories.
Yeah. You want to just tell stories or something, man? We love having people on. I'll go with. You know what people really like on this? Ghost stories. Do you have any ghost stories out there in Utah?
I got one heck of a crazy ghost. I did not believe in ghosts, but I got one heck of a crazy ghost stories that when it happened to me, I
guess what?
I was dumbfounded, and it happened to me in the Superstition Mountains in Arizona.
Well, guess what?
What?
I want you to tell it
right now.
Right now, we don't care. We let the show. Just
Go
away, Frank. Tell me that. All right, here's what it is. Because listen, I don't believe
in Gary. Gary's got to leave.
See you later.
All right, Gary, keep in touch, buddy. You man.
See you, Gary.
See you soon. Bye, guys.
We'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah,
you
man.
Don't get any better person. You really don't. Mark, take your medicine. You're starting to see flies that aren't there.
I got these moths flying all over the place.
So, Terry, I don't believe in ghosts, but we seem to, when we start talking about ghosts, man, people love this stuff. So tell us your ghost story.
I did not believe in ghosts either. I went out to the Dutch Hunters Rendezvous with Wayne Tuttle and them guys. And I won a ticket to the Lost Dutchman Museum there. So on my way home from there, I went out stopped at the Lost Dutchman Museum. And I went all the way through it, and then I'm coming out and I'm leaving. I'm getting ready to leave, and there's this older gentleman there with a name tag on, and he stops me and he asks me where I was from. Well, at the time, I was working on a job on a power plant in Wyoming. So I told him, I says, well, on the weekdays, I live in Wyoming. I'm working on a power plant, but on the weekends, I'm back home and I live in Utah. And he started telling me how he used to work on all them power plants, including the one I was working on then. He told me he'd worked on them. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if this guy's from Wyoming, he must be out here looking for the Lost Dutchman gold mine. And he was an older gentleman. And I thought, well, if he's got a great story, I want to record it for my YouTube channel. So I told him, I said, man, you must have been out here for looking for the Lost Dutchman mine. He says, well, I have looked, but more than anything, I'm just a historian. But I moved out here for the climate. And I says, well, what's your great story? You got to have a great story. And so he told me that he'd heard about that there was these coke ovens that the pioneers built, and that there was supposed to be a heart on the mountain by those, and he wanted to find somebody that could take him out there. And he finally found a guy by the name of Salvador Delgadillo who could take him there. Well, I just met Salvador at the Dutch Hunters Rendezvous, so I knew who Salvador was. Salvador had a lot of great stories to tell. And so he's telling me this story, and all it was they went out there, they seen the coke ovens, they seen the heart on the mountain, and then they come back and he got a flat tire, and so they changed the tire, and he gets another flat tire, so they're riding on a rim, then he gets another flat tire, they're riding on 2 flat rims, and they get stuck in a wash, and they spend the day there. It's July, it's hotter than heck. They shading up in the shade, and then they'd turn the vehicle on for a little while, and then when it got dark, they hiked all night and got out of there, and they for 10 miles, they was back in 10 miles, and they heard this noise up on this bluff, so they hiked up there. They see this motor home, and there's an old couple. They fed them breakfast, took them to town. They get their buddy, they get new tires, they come out, get the Jeep, and the story's on. Great, done. So I didn't record it. I didn't think that was a great enough story. I wished I would have recorded that. So 3-4 months later, I go back out to Apache Junction there, and I met up with Salvador, and I asked him. I had a guy contact me and tell me that him and his buddy was out riding their motorcycle, and they was way out in the middle of nowhere, but they was by the Gila River, and they started flipping donuts with their motorcycles, and the one buddy flipped up a necklace, a gold necklace that looked like it was Egyptian. And so I asked Salvador, has there been any Egyptian artifacts found around here? And he says, well, there's this one guy who found this cave that was clear full of either Egyptian or Oriental artifacts. He says, I don't know exactly where the cave, but I know where the area is. Come on, I'll take you out there and I'll show you. So we go out there, and as we're driving out there, he says, stop. See over there, there's the coke ovens. And when he said that to me, it reminded me that this guy 3 or 4 months earlier had told me that him and Salvador had been out there and got stuck. And I said, Salvador, I met a friend of yours. He told me that you guys came out here to see the coke ovens, and you got flat tires, and he'd say, yeah, this happened. And this guy told me that. And he says, yeah, he told me this and that. Anyways, we're going back and forth. And I says, yeah, I met him. And he looks at me kind of funny, and he says, you couldn't have. And I says, what do you mean I couldn't have? He says, that's Jim Hatt. He's been dead for 8 to 10 years. I thought, no way. This guy, he says, it must have been somebody that heard Jim's story, and now he's telling it to you, and he's lying because Jim's dead. Well, this guy was reliving this story to me. I'm thinking, no way was this guy dead, man. He was not dead. It was like me and you talking in person, face to face, So I thought, Salvador's wrong. Salvador thinks this guy's dead, and he's not. So we went over to Goldfield Ghost Town and talked with the owner, Bob Schuss. And I says, Bob, do you know Jim Hatt? He says, oh, yeah, Terry, you'd have liked him. He was some kind of an engineer, and he worked on them power plants in Wyoming like you did. This guy told me he worked on these power plants in Wyoming, I says, yeah, I met him 3 or 4 months ago, and he seemed like a nice guy, and he's looking at me funny. He says, he couldn't have, man. He's been dead to 8 to 10 years. That changed my whole belief system, because how many times I would have never known if Salvador hadn't have said he's been dead. If Salvador hadn't said there's the coke ovens, over there at the mountains, it wouldn't have clicked on me, and I wouldn't have remembered that story. And I'm thinking, wow, has that happened to me before, where I've talked to somebody and they're dead and you don't know it? He did not look dead to me.
Here's my question. Here's my question. Did you ever research a picture of him to see if it was the...
I did. So I'm trying to remember 3 or 4 months later, because it was just a blur in my memory. I remember the conversation. I remember everything because I thought if he had a great story, I wanted to record it, but it wasn't a great enough story to record. I wished I would have recorded that. I don't know what, there was other people there. I don't know. Can everybody see him? Nobody was bumping into him. They staying away from me because I'm talking to myself and I look like I'm nuts. I don't know. I have no idea. He looked real to me. So a couple years later, I have a friend that his grandmother back in the early 20s was given a gold mine of the Apaches on the Superstition Mountains. So we went there to try to find it. And we went to the area where he thought it would be. And I go into this trailer there, and man, guess what I find laying on the floor? There was an old trailer there where they were staying on this old abandoned mine. There was a bunch of Jim Hat's cards, business cards, laying on the floor.
See, that's better. See, that's better than the cheesy ghost story Frank tells us. Frank was telling me for years, right? So Frank says to me, he heard ghosts in his neighbor's house. It was a band.
Well, first of all, it was my house. Second
Okay.
of all, I didn't hear him. I saw him.
And he also said he had them recorded.
And I did, and I played them for you.
I broke his balls for like 10 years, and I want to hear this recording because Frank's like, you can hear the ghosts on it. So Frank starts playing this recording, and you can't hear shit. All you can hear is static. And Frank's going, you hear the ghost? You hear the ghost?
I don't know what to think anymore. I really don't. That blew my whole belief system because this guy did not look dead to me. He looked real to me. He did not look dead.
Well, no, not if he's talking. At least he's not totally dead. If he's talking, he's not totally dead.
I think he lives on Skinwalker Ranch now.
That's a great story. Yeah, we got to have you back. We got to do story, Frank.
We'll have him back when we do our ghost night.
We'll do story night with Terry Carter.
That's my only ghost story, but I've got a Skinwalker Ranch story. I got a Skinwalker Ranch story. I don't know if I can tell it though, but I got a Skinwalker Ranch story. Crazy.
Well, save your stories for the next time.
Okay.
Man, I see.
We'll definitely have you back, bud.
Yeah, you're an awesome dude. I like you. Even though Mark's your friend, we like you. So,
I kind of like Mark. Man, he's a great guy.
If you are not on Detect America, feel free to go on there.
I just subscribed. I just joined your Detect America.
Yeah, we're a bunch of boobs. I'm probably the biggest boob you'll ever meet. So post whatever you like. Post your YouTube channel. I mean, you don't need to. You got 58 million friends already, so you don't. Maybe you could post our page on yours. Maybe you could do some advertising for us. Get us some members. But listen, it was great meeting you. And Mark, it's always great seeing you again.
Thank you.
You know, I look up to you guys, you and Gary, man. You guys are just like the greatest. And, you know, whenever Mark calls us, the answer is always yes.
Well, thanks for having us on. And you know, I don't know that much about you two. Where are you guys from? I'm
from Southern New Jersey.
I'm from Southern New Jersey. I live down in Southern Florida now.
So you guys know, you probably know Peter Tobia, don't you, Mark? Peter just
they don't know him because he's over on the other coast.
He just moved back to New Jersey. Peter did.
Oh yeah. No, we live in Southern New Jersey. I'm an hour from Atlantic City, and I can see Philadelphia from here. Philadelphia is right across the river in Pennsylvania. So we're in a bunch of mess. We're
good metal detecting though. Really, it is.
And Terry, they have found some Spanish stuff, some coins and and things like that. So
every now and then you'll stumble over an old tavern and
I'm
a big beach guy. I'm out on the southern coast. The Jersey coast, hunting the beach all the time, looking for things people drop. You know, the jewelry people drop. Frank's been a big field dirt detector.
Then I moved to Florida. I figured Florida's good. I got about 1,000 miles of beaches that I haven't found anything on. My first find in Florida in a park was a 1830s real or 1630s real.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're still trying to impress upon Frank to find stuff. You have to get out of the house.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm building a lot of stuff right now.
Now, Terry, do you metal detect at all?
I do. Not as much, probably not as much as you guys, but I do it. I'm scouting, running ground penetrating radar. I don't run it. I got a friend that runs ground penetrating radar.
I'm a GPR operator.
Two boxes, things like that. But if I find an area that I think there's Spanish activity took place, you have to run a metal detector to try and see, if anything pops up that fits your theories.
Your era. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Wow, you're an interesting dude. No wonder you got 58,000 people, and I got 3.
It's not me. It's the people I know. It's
Terry,
because of the people
I got
know.
3. I have 3 followers,
That's not true.
and 2 of them are fake profiles I
I think
created.
you have 4.
Yeah, two of them are fake profiles I created. But yeah, you're the best. All right, let's let him go. I like talk. I'll talk all night, but you're the best, my friend. You're the
Thanks
best.
for having us.
Yeah,
Great.
thanks for having us. It's nice
Listen.
meeting you guys.
You too,
guys
man.
you guys ought to come to the Moon Lake Gathering. It's free. You just got to pay to get there.
I may never leave. Like I told you, the
When
divorce.
winter
may
gets
thrill.
here, you'll leave.
Yeah, really, seriously.
Yeah, when winter gets there, yeah. All right, let's say goodnight. Thanks again, Mark, buddy.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a good one.
All right.
You guys
Good
later.
evening. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, they're good. 2 good people right there, buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude.
I imagine we could pick a lot of stories out of that dude.
Dude, I think you should get him back and we do stories because he's very well spoken.
Yeah.
Nice, clear, and tells a story. Just I just like So you were all about that ghost story, weren't you?
Yeah, that was good. I like those stories.
Yeah, I know. So it looks like. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Oh, darn. So I don't know. I was just trying to close some pages here and see what we got going on. Check our chat in the YouTube. We got a lot of great people, and it looks like we got a ton of viewers.
Yeah, on the other pages, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's
Facebook.
cool. He's a good dude. It's one of those events I wouldn't necessarily want to participate in, but I want to be there. I want to be there and hear everybody and see the Skinwalker Ranch and the Bigfoot dudes. And
I wonder what kind of stories. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah. Yeah,
I like to hear those alien stories and the Bigfoot stories.
Dude, if you were ever abducted by the aliens, they would beat feet from this. They would dump you off and beat feet from this planet and never come back.
They did. They landed. They asked me, "You want to come on board?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Never mind." They took off.
No, they got you on board. They got you on board. When what the hell is this? And they threw it back. So
I started talking ugly box. They caved and they threw me out.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
so
we got so much rain. Oh my god.
Yeah, none leaked in your house. That's good.
Not a drop. We got in our area over 36 hours. We got about just shy of 13 and a half inches of rain in 36 hours.
Well, I had something unique happen.
Well, remember that you were there. You were here, so you know the lake, right?
Right.
And there's about where the lake settles in. There's about 5-6 feet above the water line.
Yeah, rocks.
It's on the grass today. Lake rose about 5 feet. Luckily, it didn't overflow, but.
Then you got it fast, is what happened.
Yeah, that's the problem. We got it fast as hell.
So, you guys know, I don't know if you've heard me whining and crying, but detecting out in Jersey has been really tough, and not just for me, but for a lot of people.
There we go.
But I scored, and this is odd because I don't know. I picked this up, and can you see the color of that?
Yeah.
It's like a blue.
Listen, the other thing is awesome, but the pool a silver dime off of the Jersey Shore.
And when I picked this up, it's like a bluish color. I'm like, this color ain't right. I'm like, it just wasn't right. And it's a 1946 Rosie. And I'm like,
that's all.
It
silver dime off the beach. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you don't understand. Jersey Shore is packed with detectorists. I mean, it's packed anymore.
Yeah.
To pull a silver dime off the beach is awesome. And,
I mean, it must have been dropped by someone, but not. How long does it take to get this color though? Real fast or?
Yeah, silver will gray up, and you won't get that bluish gray color for a while. I mean, It may not be 50, 60 years, but it may be 25, 30.
You mean in the sand?
Yeah.
Really?
Silver. It's all silver's going to do in the sand is gray. It's gray to the point where it looks almost blue.
This wasn't deep in the sand, and I'll tell you what, this wasn't deep in the sand, folks. My first gold of the year.
That looks like a hose washer.
Listen, I want to tell you something. I wrote it up on the Deus 2 page. This thing rang in at a 65 on the Deus 2. And 65 on the Deus 2 is a pull tab all day long. All day long. And it's really weird because the other day a guy dug a gold ring in front of me, and that rang up a 59 on the Deus. And I was like, this is, because I've been, like I said, this is what, my second year using the Deus. And, I really hadn't formulated a full opinion. But now my opinions are starting to come more into focus, especially by seeing that reading of that ring and this. So I'm sifting, and it was on top. So I'm sifting through the sand. Whenever I get a pull tab, I'll dig pull tabs. But you know what? I look, as soon as it's a pull tab, I move on. I just want to make sure.
It could be gold. I mean,
and a lot of times, no, I don't even think that. I just make sure.
Well, on the mine labs, they could be.
Right. So basically, when they're not so deep, I just kick the sand to the side, and usually there's the pull tab. So I kick up a little fluff of sand, and I see a glint of gold, and I'm like, okay, it's a gold pull tab then, because I'm 65 is a pull tab. Well, this son of a gun is 18 karat gold. I pull this out, and I'm like, oh, it's only 10K. I'm like, wait a minute, that's an 18 karat, seven, almost 7.5 grams, 7.3 grams. So, dude, so my slump is over. And let me tell you something. Frank, I've been out there slaving. No,
I know. Every time you go out and you call me up, nothing on the damn beach.
Dude, the day before, I spent 2 days in the wet. 2 days in the wet. Over 2 hours. Over a 14 block area. 14 blocks, probably about at least 7 lifeguard stands in the wet for over 2 hours. Nothing. And I'm serious. When I say nothing, I'm talking like not a coin, not a coin in the wet. I didn't find anything. I think I found a fishing weight. And I'm going around the lifeguard stands. I'm in the water, out of the water, up the slope, down the slope. This is a beach.
I'm going to have the score 3 out this week on the beach. I'm about almost caught up with everything. I'm going to get the score 3 out, and
you're going to give that the test run. And
I am. I like everything I've read about it. Playing with it here. I like it. It's a little less learning curve than like the Legend is, and Legend is a great machine, but I've had the Legend out. I want to try this machine.
Hopefully it's a little more basic and user friendly, which is
a lot of the stuff that you on the Legend and on other machines that you would program in when you go to the beach. A lot of this stuff runs in the background already, and right. It's just stuff that I would do anyway. And it's already running, so it does. It trim lines it down a little bit, and we're going to see. I got a couple guys that have them. They're loving it, and I'm going to give it a shot.
So a couple things about the D2. The module, okay, where the module slot, it was a bad design from the get-go, where the module on the top of the shaft, it slides on and kind of lock. Well, the other day, it finally just was done. It broke. It wasn't. It was done. So I had 3D printed locking pieces that you take the old one. It's only 2 screws on the side. You pull the old one out, put the new one on, and the module locks. So that's now in place. I had to reconfigure the wire that's hidden in. I keep the wire hidden in the shaft because I don't know that wrapping that antenna around like that is crazy.
Yeah.
I have it all kind of folded up. So my machine collapses all the way down. And then when I open it up, the wire is hidden. So that locking device is now on there. And I kind of got to get used to that because the module now is a little higher. I have to lift my thumb up. And I'm monitoring it now. But as soon as we started the show tonight, I'm screaming and cursing Frank gets on there. I'm having problems charging it. The coil, and I charge everything separate. So I brought it home yesterday. It was weird because I just charged it. And I only had it out for like 2 days, and I could get like 4 or 5 days out of this thing.
Right.
So the coil was dead, or not dead, but needed charging. I brought it home, and it looked like it was charging all night, and it looked like it was solid in the morning, like it was ready to go, and it wasn't charged. Well, I came home tonight, and it said it was charging, but then all of a sudden I looked at it again, and the battery was dead. And on the coil side, not the module side, the coil side. The module side is really strong. So it's hard to charge it when the skid plate, what do you call that? The
Coil cover.
Coil cover. When the coil covers, it's hard to, it just has a problem making the connection, I guess. But I'm telling you, it was when you turn this on, there's a coil side on the screen and a battery side. And when it's charging, it lights up till it goes to the top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that when it's full, like this morning, it was blinking that it was full, and there's something going on here. So
this has been my complaint. Again, there's no complaint about the quality of the machine. The machine is solid. People love the machine. It finds stuff. It's a good machine. My problem with XP is exactly that. All the accoutrements. The headphone cable that they used was an afterthought. They had to go with a super small connector.
Right, they did, yeah.
The only repairs I do on headphones anymore are on Deus 2.
You were saying it, but what I want to go back to my evaluation about this machine is, and we all talk about having a machine that only finds gold and blah blah blah, and everybody in metal detecting, no matter what machine they have, they want to know what rings up at what, and and all the machines I've had, I can tell you what a quarter, dime, and nickel and penny ring up, right? They're always consistent. That's a quarter, that's a penny, that's a dime, right? You always do that. But with gold, you can't do it. But I got to say one thing. The Equinox was really good for gold falling on certain numbers. And I can tell you, I found a lot of gold when it was a 2. A 2. I found a lot of gold chains came in 2, and different shapes and sizes of gold. And 15 and 16. When something rang, especially 15. This ring, I'll bet you, if I put this under an Equinox, I'll bet you this thing's going to ring at a 15. Remember, I would tell you, Frank, you were there when I found a couple rings. 15, boom, and it was a gold. This could be a gold ring, and sometimes it was. But the thing I'm learning about the Equinox now is more leaning towards dig everything, because gold and rings come in at different. I found a couple silver rings in the 40s. But like I said, I found that gold class ring in 87, which is closer to a penny number.
Right.
Which when I was digging at, I'm like, I'm digging a penny, and up comes a big class.
That's the thing, the machine is never, any machine is never going to tackle gold coming in at a specific number. For the CTX, for years, stuff would pop up 1201, and I would never dig it. It's trash. And then somebody yelled at me about it, and sure, I went out to the beach that one night. 1201, it was a tennis bracelet, for God's sake.
1204 for me. 1204 found me those platinum rings. At 1204 was a deadly number. I would dig through lava to get to a 1204 on that machine. And then we knew there were other certain numbers. We knew penny, nickel, dime, quarter. Rings would ring up at, I found a big silver ring at 1245.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that Equinox had certain numbers that gold showed up more consistent. So the one thing I'm learning about the Deus on the beach is any number now, it could be,
Absolutely.
And I always thought 40 through 60 was gold. Anything from 40 to 60, and I'm seeing that. But 65. I found some rings in the 70s, not gold rings, but so I think I've got a really, after this dig, I think I can say I got a pretty good grasp on the dais,
As long as you
and
don't have to replace your coil.
it's telling me the numbers don't always mean anything.
That's the thing. You can put them into range, and that, like, the CTX was good for that. It'll put it in a range you knew you had to dig certain ranges, but you're
Yeah.
never going to tackle, especially gold. You're never going to tackle gold. It's never going to come in the
Right.
same way every time.
Let me ask you a question, all right? Something I'm telling you, when this broke, I had to take the Equinox out the other day, and it's killing me on the beach. The chatter is horrible. I've never had to turn, and Rich is telling me, Rich is using the Equinox, and he's telling me he's getting, it's making so much noise on the beach. I had to back it down to 19 on the sensitivity, and I usually run it at 23 sensitivity. And if that's going to continue, I'm not going to use that machine anymore because I don't know. I just, now, can a machine get old where this,
You know, and we've been seeing stuff changing. I've been seeing coins coming up different numbers than you're used to. The one thing I found out about down here when I was using I was out with the Xterra, and we had a lot of rain the past 2 days, guys. But I'm talking about for the past month, we've had daily downpours. It's the rainy season. And when I wanted to test the Xterra after the update, it was chattering like crazy. And I'm talking to some guys, and they're like, listen, when it rains all the time, when you get so much rain, people think, it's purifying the sand, when in fact it's taking the lightweight, nothing sand out, and it's leaving concentrated salt, concentrated iron. So I don't know if that's the case, but machines I have the same machine I have will be different on the beach, the same beach.
Right.
Depending on the condition.
Yeah, we've seen the different numbers come out like that. But what I'm saying is, can usage and wear and tear?
It shouldn't. Let's put it this way: this is a digital system, so as long as it boots up and as long as it runs through the process and it's working according to the computer on board, it's met all the minimum criteria that it's met. If something was to fail, it wouldn't boot up. So it shouldn't, but it doesn't mean it doesn't. It doesn't mean components are getting old.
I mean, can the coil just get old? And
the coils can get out of caliper. They can do a lot of. Coils can get old, but if it's only chattering when you're hitting the beach, is it quiet every place else?
Well, I haven't used it any place else.
That's the test. You have to say.
I'm just saying.
Don't forget too, our newer machines that are coming out, your Deus 2, your Manicore, your Legend, these things are geared, are more and more and more geared to getting rid of that small mineral. So it could be just something where we are becoming spoiled with this new technology. Even the new Garrett's got a salt program.
I'll tell you, the D2 is quiet in the sand, in the wet sand, and if you put it in the water, you do have slight chatter from the waves going over top and back.
Well, that was the CTX, and even my Manicore would do that when the waves would crash over it.
Not the Equinox was so annoying, it was pathetic. And
you might be getting spoiled with the newer technology.
No, it's annoying. I know the Nox used to chatter, but this covers up signals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
the thing is, you got to take it out again on a different day and see if the conditions have changed.
Well, it's going to get usage this weekend because my brother's coming in, and I'm going to try and take him out on the beach, do a little detecting, and I was going to have him use that. And I'll use the D2. So we'll see if he decides to go for any more than 15, because you know him, he likes to do it, but who knows if he wants to walk around the beach like that.
Right.
We'll figure something out. But no, he'll probably want to go, and his wife will probably want to go. So she'll be the one that wants to go. So I'll see how long I can get him out there, and I'll do some video stuff, because you remember he used to make fun of me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, he always makes fun of me. Let's face it. But he used to make fun of me for metal detecting. He's like, let me try it. Let me do this.
We got to sign off because Butch has guests on tonight.
Oh, so check this out. Don Wentz just said, if he ever comes out here, I better take him to the beach for detecting. Yeah, I'll take you to the beach for detecting, buddy. Don't you worry. We're going right to Shark Beach, and you're going to become bait. There's a guy.
All right, guys, we're not giving. I haven't. I almost didn't do the show tonight because I wasn't feeling good all day. So I don't have anything prepared to give away. But here's my promise. Next week, we'll give away an opening box.
You don't look good at all. I swear to God, this show is nothing but a circus.
It is. Yeah, we're gonna do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do an opening box. Yeah, we'll give that away next week.
Here's my circus monkey, Frank.
Yeah,
you and your calliope.
I'm gonna go eat some oatmeal. I think my stomach ain't right today.
All right. So great show, good guest. I'm glad. Now get us some more guests on for next week or something.
All right.
All right, there, circus monkey. See you. Go shut Facebook off.
Oh yeah, hold on.
See, I go them into that so I can talk about them. Circus monkey Frank. Yeah, it's not easy running this circus, believe me. With the old circus monkey, Frank Looper Goa, the #1 circus monkey and clown. How many Franks can we fit in a Volkswagen Bug? It's a calliope. Yeah, that's something I learned tonight. Marc Hoover's a smart man. He's like the Renaissance guy. If I hung out with him, I might be able to pass a 5th grade math test. Give me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever come back, so take me off the show, fathead.
Making sure we're off.
Hit off.
Okay.
2, 3 strikes, Frank's out.
All right, good.
Ball game.